Think about the last time it happened. The last time someone disrespected you. The last time someone challenged your authority. The last time you were pulled into an argument you didn't want. Remember it. Feel it. That hot flash of anger that flooded your chest. That desperate, scrambling urge to defend yourself, to explain, to prove them wrong. And what did you do? Maybe you exploded. You raised your voice, your hands shook, and you looked like a child, completely out of control. You handed them the victory on a silver platter. Or maybe you did the opposite. You swallowed it. You forced a tight smile, said nothing, and walked away. And you felt that sickening, corrosive feeling of weakness eating away at you for hours, for days. Replaying the scene in your mind, 1,000 perfect comebacks arriving 1,000 hours too late. In both scenarios, you lost. You lost because you were betrayed. Not by them. By your own emotions. Your emotions are the strings, and in the hands of an enemy, they make you a puppet. Every time you get angry, you are dancing for them. Every time you get defensive, you are performing for them. Every time you are offended, you have surrendered your power to them. You are tired of it. Tired of being a slave to your own reactions. Tired of feeling weak when you most need to be strong. Today, the puppetry ends. This video is not a list of polite communication tips. This is a forge, and by the end of it, we will have hammered your mind into a suit of emotional armor. This isn't about becoming a robot, cold and unfeeling. This is about becoming a king. A king on a battlefield, sitting calmly upon his throne, observing the chaos, the fire, the screaming, without ever letting it touch him. You will evolve from the emotional reactor, who is easily provoked, easily baited, and easily controlled, into the calm commander, whose composure is his most terrifying and effective weapon. This is the forbidden art of emotional sovereignty. And it starts now. Before we begin, you must declare your liberation. Drop this vow in the comments below. I rule my emotions. They do not rule me. Let's begin by identifying your jailer. The enemy is not the person who insults you. The enemy is the reaction inside you. We will call this enemy the tyranny of the trigger, how your brain betrays you. Your brain is a survival machine. It is not a power machine. It is designed to react to perceived threats instantly, bypassing all rational thought. 1,000 years ago, this kept you alive. A rustle in the bushes meant run, not let's analyze the data. Today, in the social jungle, this same mechanism is your greatest liability. A disrespectful comment is not a tiger in the bushes, but your brain doesn't know the difference. It registers the comment as a threat to your social standing, to your ego, and it triggers the same primal, fight or flight response. Adrenaline floods your system. Your heart rate spikes. The blood rushes from your prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, your inner strategist, to your amygdala, the seat of raw emotion, your inner animal. In that moment, you are literally dumber. You cannot think clearly. You cannot strategize. You can only react. You are an animal in a cage, rattling the bars. And your opponent, the one who triggered you, is the calm zookeeper, watching your predictable performance with detached amusement. They pushed a button. You reacted. The experiment was a success. They now know how to control you. The authentic person, the passionate person, they pride themselves on this reaction. I'm just being real, they say. I speak my mind. They are confusing emotional incontinence with integrity. They are proudly announcing to the world that they have no control over their own mind. Machiavelli saw this fatal flaw in the leaders of his time. He wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." The fool explodes in anger now, looks weak, makes a fatal error, and then, hours later, when he is calm, thinks, "I should have handled that differently." The wise man feels the same anger, but he contains it. He holds it. He lets it cool. And then, he acts. Deliberately, strategically, powerfully. He does at once what the fool only wishes he had done. The first and most critical step to building your emotional armor is to understand this. Your initial emotional reaction is almost never the most powerful move. It is a biological trap, and your freedom lies in your ability to spot the trap and refuse to step in it. Here are the 7 disciplines for forging your emotional armor. Each is a trial by fire. Endure them, and you will become untouchable. Discipline number 1, the sacred pause. This is the foundational technique, the one from which all other power flows. It is the act of creating a space between the trigger and your response. In that space, you reclaim your kingdom. The reactor's chain reaction. Trigger dash or instant emotional surge dash or immediate verbal physical reaction dash regret. This entire sequence happens in less than a second. It is an unconscious reflex. The dark psychology at play. Your opponent is counting on this reflex. Their entire strategy is based on the assumption that you are a machine of stimulus and response. They provide the stimulus, the insult, the provocation. They wait for the predictable response, your anger, your defensiveness. Then they punish you for it. Wow, look how emotional you're getting. I can't even have a conversation with you. They have successfully framed you as the problem. The honest person's mistake. The person who values honesty believes that their first reaction is the most truthful. They think that pausing to consider a response is somehow deceptive or inauthentic. They fail to understand that their first reaction is not their truth. It is their programming. It is the animal part of their brain hijacking the system. The commander's countermove, the forging of the pause. The calm commander introduces one single, powerful step into the chain reaction. Trigger dash or instant emotional surge dash, the sacred pause dash a calculated response. The pause can be 1 second long. It can be 5. It can be a minute. The duration is irrelevant. The act of pausing itself is the revolution. In that space, you are no longer the animal. You are the observer of the animal. You feel the anger rise in your chest, but you do not act on it. You watch it. You feel the urge to defend your ego, but you do not obey it. You notice it. You have detached your consciousness from your conditioned response. You have gone from being the storm to being the sky that holds the storm. The practical technique. The moment the trigger happens, you must train a new, automatic reflex. This reflex is physical. Stop talking. Your mouth is the gateway to your weakness. Shut it. Take a slow, deliberate breath. This is not just a cliché. A slow breath physically counteracts the adrenaline response. It tells your nervous system that you are not in mortal danger. It sends blood back to your rational brain. Hold eye contact. Do not look away. Do not look down. Looking away is a submissive gesture. Look at your opponent, not with anger, but with a calm, analytical curiosity, as if you are studying a curious insect. During this pause, you ask yourself a series of Machiavellian questions. What is their real goal here? What emotion are they trying to provoke in me? Why are they doing this? Are they insecure? Are they testing my boundaries? Are they trying to distract from their own failure? What is the most powerful response? The one that achieves my objective, not the one that satisfies my ego. This entire process can happen in 3 seconds, but those 3 seconds are the difference between being a puppet and being the puppeteer. As Machiavelli would advise, a battle is won or lost in the moments of preparation before the first sword is even drawn. The sacred pause is your preparation. It is the moment you survey the battlefield before you commit your troops. The fool rushes in and is slaughtered. The commander pauses, assesses, and then dominates. Discipline number 2, the weapon of composure. Now that you have created the pause, you must fill it with the most powerful non-verbal signal a human can display. Absolute composure. The reactor's betrayal. The emotional reactor betrays their inner state with their body. Their face flushes. Their jaw clenches. They fidget, tap their fingers, shift their weight. Their body is screaming, "I am affected. I am uncomfortable. I am losing control." Even if their mouth says nothing, their body has already surrendered. The dark psychology at play. Your opponent is reading your body language far more than they are listening to your words. Your nonverbal signals are a direct pipeline to your emotional state. When they see your composure break, they know their attack has landed. It gives them a surge of confidence. It encourages them to press their advantage. The expressive person's mistake. They believe their body language is just an honest expression of their feelings. They do not realize that in a conflict, their body is a weapon that is being used against them. Every uncontrolled gesture is a piece of intelligence they are leaking to the enemy. The commander's countermove, the mask of serenity. The calm commander understands that his body is the first line of defense. He masters the art of projecting unshakable composure, regardless of the storm raging within him. This is not about feeling nothing. It is about showing nothing. The trinity of composure. The still body. You must eliminate all nervous, unnecessary movements. Plant your feet. Keep your hands still and relaxed, never clenched, never in your pockets. Whether sitting or standing, your posture should be solid, grounded, and calm. You are a mountain. The wind of their words blows against you, and you do not move. The neutral face. This is the hardest part to master. You must train your facial muscles not to betray your inner emotions. No furrowed brow. No tightened lips. No flaring nostrils. Your expression should be one of calm, detached neutrality. Or, for a more advanced move, a look of slight, almost imperceptible amusement. As if you find their emotional outburst quaint. The measured voice. If you choose to speak after your pause, your voice must be the auditory equivalent of your calm body. You speak slower than usual. You lower the pitch of your voice slightly. Y. Our tone is even, measured, and devoid of emotional charge. A calm, slow voice in the middle of a heated argument is incredibly jarring. It forces everyone else to quiet down just to hear you. It automatically frames you as the voice of reason, the one in control. When you combine these three elements, you create an aura of impenetrable power. You become a black hole for their emotional energy. They are throwing anger, insults, and pressure at you, and it is all just disappearing into the void of your composure. This is terrifying for them. They expected to get a reaction, a fight, a sign that they had affected you. Instead, they get nothing. They start to question themselves. Why isn't he reacting? Is he not scared? Does he know something I don't? Your composure becomes a mirror that reflects their own instability back at them. As Machiavelli knew, the appearance of strength is, in itself, a form of strength. A fortress that looks impenetrable will deter many attacks before they even begin. Your composure is the wall of your inner fortress. Make it high. Make it strong. Make it unbreachable. Discipline number 3, the reframing of the attack. The reactor allows the opponent to define the terms of the conflict. The commander seizes control of the narrative. You do not have to accept the frame that your attacker presents. You can, and you must, reframe the interaction to your advantage. The reactor's trap. The attacker sets the frame. You are incompetent. The frame is your competence is on trial. You are being selfish. The frame is your morality is on trial. You are overreacting. The frame is your sanity is on trial. The reactor immediately steps into this frame and begins to argue within its rules. No, I'm not incompetent. Here's a list of my achievements. I'm not selfish. Let me explain all the selfless things I've done. I'm not overreacting. My feelings are valid. The moment you start defending yourself within their frame, you have already lost. You have accepted their premise. You have accepted their role as the judge. The dark psychology at play. The person who controls the frame of a conversation controls the conversation. The frame is the underlying context, the unspoken question that is being debated. By setting the frame, the attacker forces you to play on their home turf, by their rules. The logical person's mistake. The logical person believes they can win the argument with facts and evidence. They fail to see that the argument is not about the facts. It is about the frame. You can have all the facts in the world, but if you are arguing from a defensive frame, you will always look weak. The commander's countermove, the frame shift. The calm commander never accepts the enemy's frame. He ignores it and imposes his own. The technique, from defense to analysis. You do not defend your character. You analyze their attack. You shift the focus from the what, the content of their insult, to the why, the motivation behind their insult. Let's see this in action. The attack frame. Your plan is terrible. It will never work. Frame. Your competence. The reactor's defense. It's not terrible. I've done all the research. It will work. The commander's reframe. You pause, look at them with curiosity, and ask, what is it about this plan that makes you feel so threatened? Or you seem to have a very strong emotional reaction to this proposal. Why is that? The shift. The conversation is no longer about your plan. It is about their emotional state and their hidden motives. You are no longer the one being judged. You are the analyst. The attack frame. You are being incredibly selfish. Frame. Your morality. The reactor's defense. I'm not selfish. I do so much for you. The commander's reframe. It's interesting that you perceive a healthy boundary as an act of selfishness. What does that say about your expectations? The shift. The conversation is no longer about your action. It is about their entitled expectations. You have become the philosopher, holding up a mirror to their own psychology. The attack frame. You're getting way too emotional. The classic gaslighting frame. The reactor's defense. I am not emotional. You are the one who. The commander's reframe. My emotional response is a rational reaction to your behavior. The more interesting question is why you need to invalidate it. The shift. You have refused to debate your own sanity. You have framed their gaslighting as a tactic to be analyzed. This technique is incredibly powerful because it is non-aggressive. You are not insulting them back. You are not raising your voice. You are using the calm, detached language of a psychologist or a strategist. You are treating their attack not as an insult, but as a fascinating piece of data that reveals more about them than it does about you. Machiavelli taught that a prince must be a master of appearances. The frame shift is the ultimate mastery of appearance. You refuse the appearance of the defendant on trial. You adopt the appearance of the wise, detached observer, who is above the petty fray of the conflict. This is how you win without fighting. Discipline number 4, the inoculation of the ego. Your ego is your inner reactor. It is the part of you that is obsessed with its own image, its own rightness, its own social standing. It is the part that gets offended. It is the part that feels the desperate need to win the argument. And it is the greatest traitor within your own mind. Your armor will never be complete until you have inoculated yourself against the needs of your own ego. The reactor's ego. The ego is a hungry ghost. It feeds on validation and praise. It is terrified of criticism and disrespect. When someone insults you, it is your ego that feels the wound. And it screams for you to do something to soothe the pain, to fight back, to defend, to prove your worth. The actions driven by a wounded ego are almost always weak actions. The dark psychology at play. Sophisticated manipulators do not attack your logic. They attack your ego. They know that if they can make you feel slighted or disrespected, your ego will hijack your rational mind. They will use subtle put-downs, backhanded compliments, and condescending tones. These are not designed to win a logical point. They are designed to wound your ego and provoke an emotional, ego-driven response. The confident person's mistake. Many people who appear confident on the surface are actually slaves to their ego. Their confidence is a fragile shell, and they spend all their energy defending it. They are the ones who can't let a single slight go. They have to have the last word. This isn't strength. It's brittleness. It is a sign of a deeply insecure ego. The commander's countermove, the detachment from self-image. The calm commander has a different relationship with his ego. He has trained it to be a servant, not a master. He has achieved what the Stoics called apatheia, a state of being where his inner peace is not dependent on external events or the opinions of others. The mental shift. You must stop identifying with your ego. You are not your reputation. You are not your social status. You are not what other people think of you. You are the consciousness that is observing all of those things. When you create this separation, an insult is no longer an attack on you. It is simply data. It is an event happening in your awareness. The sting is gone. Practical inoculation techniques. Practice voluntary discomfort. Deliberately do things that might invite minor social disapproval. Wear something slightly unconventional. Express a polite but unpopular opinion. This trains you to tolerate the feeling of not being approved of by everyone. Negative visualization. As the Stoics taught, spend time imagining the worst-case scenarios. Imagine people disliking you. Imagine losing a debate. Imagine being unfairly criticized. By visiting these scenarios in your mind, you rob them of their power to terrorize you in reality. Depersonalize the attack. When someone attacks you, do not hear it as "they are saying I am a fool." Hear it as "this person is currently emitting sound waves that form the words 'you are a fool.'" This is an interesting event. Why might they be doing this? You are shifting from the position of the victim to the position of the scientist. Machiavelli understood that a leader who is a slave to his own vanity, who cannot tolerate any slight to his honor, is a leader who can be easily manipulated. His enemies only need to provoke his ego to lead him into a trap. The truly powerful leader is the one whose ego is so solid, so internally validated, that the praise and insults of others are like the weather, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, but ultimately irrelevant to his core mission. When your ego is inoculated, you become free. You can absorb a criticism that contains a useful truth without getting defensive. You can let a meaningless insult pass without a flicker of reaction. You can choose the strategically correct move, even if it means losing the argument in the eyes of others. You stop playing for the approval of the crowd. You start playing for the victory of your own sovereign will. Discipline number 5, the strategic use of emotion. The ultimate level of mastery is not to eliminate your emotions, but to turn them into tools. To deploy them with the same cold, calculated precision as any other weapon in your arsenal. The reactor's weakness. The reactor's emotions are a liability. They are an uncontrolled fire that burns him and damages his own position. His anger makes him look unstable. His sadness makes him look weak. His enthusiasm makes him look naive. The dark psychology at play. Because the reactor's emotions are genuine and uncontrolled, they are readable. People know when he is truly angry, truly happy, truly afraid. This transparency, as we have established, is a strategic disaster. The robot's mistake. Some people, in their attempt to control their emotions, try to suppress them entirely. They become cold, robotic, and disconnected. This is also a mistake. A person who shows no emotion can be seen as inhuman and untrustworthy. They lose the ability to inspire, to connect, and to lead. The commander's countermove, the performance of emotion. The calm commander feels his true emotions internally. He keeps them under a shield of armor. But externally, he is an actor. He can choose to display any emotion that serves his strategic purpose in that moment. His emotions are no longer reactions. They are performances. The strategic application. The calculated outburst. The commander is known for his unshakable calm. 99% of the time, he is a rock. But in one specific, high-stakes moment, when a subordinate has made a catastrophic and repeated error, he may choose to display a flash of cold, controlled anger. Because it is so rare, it has a devastating impact. It signals that a fundamental line has been crossed. It is a performance designed to correct behavior and re-establish a standard. It is not a loss of control, it is a demonstration of it. The feigned vulnerability. The commander needs to build an alliance. He knows that pure strength can sometimes be intimidating. So, in a private meeting with a potential ally, he may choose to reveal a calculated vulnerability, a minor past struggle, a small, inconsequential doubt. This is not a real weakness. It is a performance of one, designed to make the other person feel trusted, to lower their guard, and to build a bridge of human connection. It is a tool. The display of passion. The commander needs to rally his team. He needs to inspire them to achieve a difficult goal. He will set aside his usual detached calm and deliver a speech filled with passion, enthusiasm, and a vision for the future. His team, used to his measured tone, will be captivated by this display. They will be inspired. But the passion is a tool, deployed to achieve a specific outcome. Once the speech is over, the commander returns to his calm, analytical core. This is the highest and most difficult art. It requires you to be both the actor and the director of your own emotional theater. You must be so in tune with your own inner state that you can separate it from the face you show to the world. As Machiavelli wrote, a prince must appear to have the virtues of mercy, faith, and humanity, but he must be prepared in his mind to act in the opposite way when necessity commands. He is talking about the separation of internal reality and external appearance. To master this, you must become a student of human emotion, both in yourself and in others. You must understand what a display of anger achieves, what a display of empathy achieves, what a display of disappointment achieves. And you must develop the emotional range to be able to convincingly perform any of them, while your true self, your calm core, remains untouched, observing, directing. This is not about being a sociopath. A sociopath feels no empathy. The commander may feel immense empathy internally, but he will not show it unless it is the strategically correct move. This is the ultimate discipline. It is the point at which your emotions are no longer your masters, or even your partners. They are your perfectly trained soldiers, to be deployed at your command. Discipline number 6, the power of the final word. In any conflict, there is a verbal battlefield. The person who is constantly talking, defending, and reacting is the one who is losing the war. The one who speaks last, or chooses not to speak at all, is the one who often holds the ultimate power. The reactor's compulsion. The reactor is obsessed with having the last word. Their ego cannot stand to let the other person's comment be the final one. They have to reply, to correct, to get one last jab in. This desperate need to have the last word makes them look petty and childish. It shows that the other person's opinion has immense power over them. The dark psychology at play. The desire for the last word is a desire for control. By continuing to engage, you are keeping the conflict alive. You are signaling to your opponent that they still matter, that they still have a hold on your attention. The person who can walk away from an argument, leaving the other person's final insult hanging in the air unanswered, is the one who truly demonstrates power. They have shown that the conflict is over when they decide it's over. The debater's mistake. The person who loves to argue believes that the final word equals victory. They think that if they can just make one more clever point, they will have won. But in the world of power, winning the debate is often irrelevant. Controlling the dynamic is everything. And sometimes, the most controlling move is to refuse to play. The commander's countermove, the art of the deliberate exit. The calm commander is not concerned with winning the point-by-point skirmish. He is concerned with winning the war. And he knows that the war is won by seizing control of the terms of engagement. This means mastering two powerful techniques. The statement of finality. Instead of getting the last word in a back and forth, you deliver a single, powerful statement that ends the conversation. This is not an insult. It is a declaration of closure. This conversation is no longer productive. I have heard your position. My decision stands. There is nothing more to be said here. You deliver this line calmly, and then you physically or verbally exit the interaction. You turn away. You end the call. You change the subject with finality. You have not won the last word. You have declared that the time for words is over. The power of walking away. This is the ultimate demonstration of power. When a conflict is devolving into emotional chaos, or when someone is being fundamentally disrespectful, you simply leave. No angry storming out. Just a calm, quiet, and deliberate exit. You simply stand up, or turn, and walk away without a word. This is a profoundly unsettling move for your opponent. They were prepared for a fight. They were feeding on your emotional energy, and you have just starved them. You have, in effect, declared that they are so far beneath your standards of engagement that they are not even worth the dignity of a formal exit line. Their insults are now just them, shouting into an empty room. As Machiavelli might see it, a prince does not engage in petty squabbles with peasants. It is beneath his station. To even argue with them is to grant them a status they do not deserve. A true leader knows when to engage his armies, and when to simply ride past a problem, demonstrating by his very lack of engagement that it is not a threat. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Stop spending it on unwinnable arguments with unworthy opponents. The power of the final word is not in speaking it. It is in your sovereign right to decide when all the words are done. Discipline number 7, the kingdom of the inner throne. This is the final discipline, the one that makes the armor complete. All the other techniques are external. They are about how you manage your appearance, your words, your actions. But none of them will hold if the kingdom of your own mind is in chaos. You must build an inner throne, a place of absolute calm, of absolute sovereignty, inside your own consciousness, from which you rule your own thoughts and emotions. The reactor's inner world. The inner world of the reactor is a riot. It is a democracy of fears, insecurities, and resentments. Every negative thought has a vote. Every passing emotion can seize the throne. His inner state is a direct reflection of his outer world. If people are happy with him, he is peaceful. If they are displeased, he is in turmoil. He has no true center. The dark psychology at play. Because his inner world is so chaotic and dependent on external validation, he is predictable. You know that an insult will create a storm of insecurity. You know that praise will create a moment of calm. His inner kingdom has no ruler, so anyone from the outside can walk in and sit on the throne. The mindful person's mistake. The person who practices mindfulness often learns to observe their thoughts, but not to command them. They become a passive observer of their own mental chaos. They think, oh, look, there's an anxious thought. How interesting. This is better than being consumed by it, but it is not power. Observation is the first step. Command is the final one. The commander's countermove, the sovereign mind. The calm commander is the absolute monarch of his own mind. He is not just an observer of his thoughts. He is their ruler. The construction of the inner throne. The gatekeeper. You must first control what enters your kingdom. This means being ruthless about the information you consume. You stop flooding your mind with the outrage, fear, and triviality of social media and the news cycle. You curate your inputs. You read books that strengthen you. You listen to ideas that empower you. You protect your mind's borders. The internal guard. You must train a part of your consciousness to act as a royal guard. Its job is to identify and challenge traitorous thoughts. When a thought of self-doubt arises, I can't do this, the guard challenges it. On whose authority do you speak? That is not the word of the king. When a thought of fear arises, what if they dislike me? The guard challenges it. The king is not concerned with the opinions of the peasants. He is concerned with the security of the realm. The practice of deliberate thought. You do not let your mind wander aimlessly. You give it missions. You practice deliberate gratitude to fortify it against resentment. You practice strategic visualization of your future victories to fortify it against doubt. You spend time in deliberate silence to fortify it against external noise. This is the deepest work. It is the forging of a mind that is a source of power, not a victim of circumstance. When your inner kingdom is in order, your outer actions will naturally be powerful. You will not have to try to be composed. Your composure will be the natural expression of your inner peace. You will not have to force yourself to pause. Your mind will be so clear that a pause is the only logical first move. Machiavelli's prince, in his ideal form, is a man whose will is law, not just in his state, but in his own soul. His every action is an extension of a single, unified, and disciplined intention. He is not at war with himself. Therefore, he can effectively wage war on the world. This is your ultimate goal: to end the civil war in your own mind, to unify your thoughts, emotions, and will under one sovereign ruler. You. Phase 4. The vision of transformation and identity choice. The forge is now cool. The armor is complete. You have seen the anatomy of your own betrayal, how your primal, emotional reactions have been the very weapons used against you. You have been given the 7 disciplines. The sacred pause, the weapon of composure, the reframing of the attack, the inoculation of the ego, the strategic use of emotion, the power of the final word, and the kingdom of the inner throne. These are not tips. They are the founding laws of your new, sovereign self. You now stand at the great chasm of your life. On the side where you have always lived is the reactor, a puppet on 1,000 strings, a leaf in the wind of other people's opinions, a man who lives and dies by the chaotic whims of his own untamed emotions. On the other side is the commander, a figure of unshakable calm, a strategist whose mind is a fortress, a king whose inner peace is a weapon more terrifying than any army, a man who is untouchable, not because he feels nothing, but because he rules everything he feels. The world is full of reactors. They are the noise, the chaos, the drama. They are the predictable pieces on the board. The world is ruled by a handful of commanders. They are the silence, the strategy, the power. They are the players who move the pieces. The choice is now yours, and it is the only choice that has ever truly mattered. Do you remain the piece, or do you become the player? Phase 5, the concluding reinforcement and call to action. Your emotions are not you. They are the weather. Until now, you have been a small boat, tossed and broken by every storm. From today, you are the lighthouse. Solid, grounded, unmovable. The storms will still come. The winds will howl. The waves will crash. But you will be the source of light in the darkness, the point of stability in the chaos. And you will not be moved. If this video has forged a new resolve within you, then declare it. Smash that like button as a symbol of your new armor. Share this with someone who is still a slave to their own reactions. Hand them the tools to their own liberation. And subscribe for more advanced strategies in the art of building an untouchable mind. Now, leave your final command in the comments below. A decree from the throne of your own mind. I am the storm, and I am the calm. Remember, they can only play you as long as you are an instrument that responds to their touch. Become the player. Become the composer. And let the only music be the one of your own choosing.